Sup boys, welcome back to another video on the channel with me. I was hoping to get some, I ordered some plate, some like 10mm LE plate, but it's taken like a week now and it still hasn't turned up. What's this banging, bro? I'm trying to film a video here. Because I want to make a, for the Skyline, I want to put a, the fuel sender in it. So this is the factory fuel sender. I want to put the factory fuel sender in the tank so we can run a gauge in it. But I want to get some like 10mm plate and cut out kind of like what these are. Not this big obviously, just like a plant, like a whatever you would call it, that base, that ring base fucking, I don't even know what you'd call it. Mounting plate? That'll work. Mounting plate like over here, like yay big. I want to make a smaller one like that so I can make a holder for the sender to sit on. So the idea was to have it like that big so you can get the float through, and then have the arm, and then just have this sender unit bolted like upright to a piece of like just aluminium flat bar that sits down in the tank, and then have that welded to a plate, the same cutout as the mounting plate, so it can just sit in there kind of like the fuel pump cradles do. So I want to do that. I'll just cut it out on the mill, but that plate hasn't turned up, so I can't really do that just yet. So that sort of fucks that, but we'll get there. Hopefully it turns up tomorrow, maybe on a Saturday courier. I heavily doubt it though. But for the meantime, what did I get? Oh, I just got another I got a new sensor in the bung. This is a Bosch sensor in the thing to go in the bottom of the swirl pot here. So just for this other, I'm gonna quickly weld that in. And I had something else to do actually too. I can't remember. I'll think about it while I'm welding. Yeah, this is the bottom of the swirl pot anyway. I don't think I showed you guys last time. I think I just showed you kind of roughly, but yeah, this is how it is. I'll just quickly whip a bead around that one, and that'll be that finally fucking done. I think, finally, maybe, we'll see. There we go, welded. One of these sensors is just a M12 straight, so it'll need a washer on it. The other one's MPT, so it's tapered, so it'll seal against the threads, but we'll just put some fucking sealant on it, and it should be ready to rock. That's that finally done actually, which is nice. Beauty, mate. Work of art. I did want to put a bracket on it to mount to the water pump. I was going to put a bracket like to mount to the screw on the water pump delete thingy, but I think it's not going to have any much weight on it anyway. Wow, it might flex with the motor moving on the, I don't know actually. Maybe I'll think about it. Maybe I will put a bracket on there, because it would be nice to have a bit of bracket on the back side here, so then the bracket would just be an aluminium plate that goes down, and it would act as like a heat shield too to the sensors from the exhaust manifold, even though they're not that close, but just the radiant. Wow, that first runner is pretty close, I suppose, isn't it? When you think about it, those sensors will be about there. We've got that runner there. Maybe I will make a little bit of a heat shield for it. That would make a bit of sense, eh? Just something straight off there to block them and mount it and hold the weight, so when it rocks on the hose it doesn't try to like creak on the bottom mount on the pipe there. There's an idea. Always finding new stuff to fucking do. I feel like this thing's never going to end. Oh, the other thing we got too is these cotton reel mounts, what I told you was about, so we can mount the water pump. I'm having crisis about the water pump mounting in my own head, because that's how I showed you guys it was earlier, and it just looks weird to me visually because it's not square on with the motor. Like, it's nice when everything's like at the front of the motors, everything's like staged, I suppose. It's bar the turbo, but you know, everything's in line. It looks weird looking down there and just seeing this off-kilted fucking water pump. So I was googling the pumps, and apparently you can run them, like people can't have run them off top radiator hoses before. like they have enough grunt to actually just pull water from wherever they're mounted. It's not ideal apparently, but it can be done. So instead of having it so low, because I was worried about water flow, I might pick it up and have it like mounted like up here off the chassis, so then it's just a 90-degree bent up bit of plate, sit like that, and then then it looks visually nice to me. And then I'll just have to make up some hoses that's like route, whether or not I get some aluminium line like pipe or bends and make up some like aluminium bends to get the nice radiuses, rather than trying to use a hose and just have a hose joiner at each end, is what I'm thinking. So what I might do is I might get a piece of alley bent up, or I might go bend a piece of alley, sorry, that fits on the back of this. It's gonna sit like that mostly. So if I get a piece of alley, and I might bolt it to this plate, like take these 3 bolts out here, because I think you bolt it to these holes maybe, like put small ones through, but no, maybe not, because they're not equal around the whole pump. So yeah, maybe we'll go with that. So I get like a disc, like a piece of alley that follows that, hole saw the center out so this can sit like that, and then just bend it here, so then we can smack that straight on the side of the chassis with those cotton reel mounts, and then it can sit there and flap. And then I might mount it where I want it to look nice, and then I'll just worry about making the lines later. I'm sure I can find some like tight radius alley bends, like even if it's like those cast elbows or something, just to get the... I might be able to find a lower radiator hose that suits it, because I might... Wow. Yes. Too much thinking. Because the hose kind of wants to be like, yeah, yay. But if I can get one that steps up, like comes out, goes up, and then like that, like a nice S or a Z shape, then it can probably come out of the lower radiator hose if I re-angle the lower one, because I can cut the lower one off and re-angle it, because at the moment it angles it the same as this. So I can probably, even if I extend it out, you know, so it'd be like this, extend out, and then give it a little kick, like weld another one so it's straight, so then the straight is like here. That way I can, or even if I put a little angle, wow, I'll mount it and I will think about how to do the hoses, but I'll come up with something surely. Oh yeah, well, in my box of goodies here, I also got these, these bulkhead power fittings, because the batteries in the car, it's well, I always wanted to run one on my car. So the batteries in the car, you can just bolt your terminal straight to this and the bulkhead and the firewall, and then have your lug come off there to all your, like your starter motor and your alternator and anything that probably wants like a direct power feed. So I've always wanted to do it with mine, because I don't like running the cable through a boot, because well, the boots are okay, but all the vibrations and the harshness that a race track car gets, especially a drift car, all the time, like I don't want it to like break the boot one day and come onto the steel and start rubbing it, and then you get an arc out. It'd be just best to fit one of these, and then you're not going to have that issue. So, and it looks tidy as well. So I bought one for my car, and they were pretty cheap, so I thought, fuck it, I'll buy one for this too, and we'll see if we can mount that somewhere for him. I haven't talked to him about it yet, but I'm sure he'll be right with it. Right? We'll see. What are you doing? Alright, I went and bent this bracket up. It's just a piece of fucking 3mm steel. Just radius the end to fucking suit the water pump. I just sized it up on the chassis rail. The chassis rail is 80mm, so that much. So I've got to trim that bottom section out, and just there to clear the caster arm bracket where it humps up. But I think I might put a hole saw or drill bit through the corner there, just so it's nice and round instead of being a square edge, because they look gross. Alright, I got it trimmed up, well, kind of trimmed up. I've got some fucking edges there. So it's just gonna sit like so down there against the chassis rail. So I'll just drill some holes in the side here, and then put the whatchamacallits, the cotton reels through it, and then butt that up and then sort of mark out where I need to drill those holes. Well, actually I can drill the holes for it, take the cotton reels out, put it right up against the chassis rail, and then put marks through these holes into the chassis rail, so you have to do that. I've got 3 cotton reels, so what I might do is mount, because the weight's going to be pulling it, twisting it that way, so the top's going to have the weight like trying to pull that way, so I think I'll put 2 cotton reels up top to support the top load, and then just have the one down bottom just for it to rest against. That should suffice, I think. I'm just drilling some holes in the side of the chassis to put some riv nuts in. It's quite tight in there with the motor, so what I had to do is I thought I had a broken drill bit floating around somewhere at work, and I did. They had a broken drill bit that fits the bottom of these riv nuts, like a 9mm or whatever, or 9.5mm. So it was broken up here, so I resharpened it on our drill sharpener, and then I just cut the base off to get it real stumpy, so I'm about to fit the whole drill in there and drill those holes out to the riv nut size. Now with these riv nuts, I think what I might do, you'll see when they bottom out, obviously they bottom out against the top of the riv nut there, and then there's an air gap between the chassis just because it's how the riv nut is. So instead of this cotton reel mount just like resting on like the tiniest surface area of the riv nut when it's loaded, I might find some washers that go over the outside of the riv nut heads here to so then the cotton reel mount, the whole face surface there is pulling up against like more surface area, just to help it so it's not like resting that whole thing just on the riv nut, like that small bit where it's grabbing the steel, which would probably be okay, but it's just as easy to put some fucking washers over it and space it out so then there's more of an area to sit on. So might do that, and probably Loctite these into the chassis as well so they don't come out, because they're a bit hard to do up, obviously, because you've got fucking, it's just like a rubber coupling in the middle. You know, you swing on it too much and it just tears the rubber instead of actually doing the bolt up. So if you Loctite it all in there, then it won't move. But since this is going to be painted, the areas probably will be, you know, obviously get painted. Probably don't want these to be painted, so there might be a on an assembly thing that I'll let the bro know to do when he puts it together. So I'll screw these in and test fit this bracket that I made. Where's that video? Alright, a quick demonstration of what I was meaning to. Like, that's how the riv nut would be in the chassis, and obviously when that's threaded and butts up, see it's the air gap there. I don't know if that's going to be good enough to like support the load, so I thought if you get a washer that goes over the top like that, then when the this does up, it pulls up against the washer as well, so you've got all that surface area for that face to load up against. I think it should help it. There you go. Fit up good, went straight on, which is nice. For the other side too, I'm thinking you might just run, I was going to run nylox on the end of it, but since, like I was saying before, the rubber can twist and absorb a lot of the like twisting force when you're doing them up and taking them off. I figured if you're going to be nylock, it's going to like be resistant the whole way on and off the thread, and I don't want that to like twist the rubber too much, so I think I might just run spring washers and spring washers instead. That way it's got the tension when it's done up to hold, but then when you crack it a little bit, obviously all the tension's off and the nut can just wind on and off and not stress the rubber too much. Not that it would come on and off a lot, but I'd rather it be sweet. Alright, I think I'm going to position the water pump just like straight up and down, like that. That way when I do the pipe work it looks like tidy and just aesthetically pleasing, I suppose, rather than fucking being like angled all weird and being tight. I think we'd have it straight up and down. So if we're going to have it straight up and down, you can't, it's going to, because you need a hole in the center for this to protrude through, but see it's got like the plug bolt bulge there as well, which has to clear the steel. So I just do a little hole in the middle and then just die grind that extra edge out, but I needed to know how that was going to be sitting to where to what material to take out. So we just go straight up and down. I can mark that out and we'll cut the hole out and bolt this to that plate, bolt it up, and then come up with some sort of pipe work solution, I suppose. Alright, since I'm a silly bastard and only have one battery for my drill ran out of fucking juice when I was hole sawing through that bracket. Got about that far, my battery went dead, so I'm just charging it. So while it's been charging, I've just been finishing up some welding on the Skyline. There's a few pipes that needed some welds completed, and end up making, put the guard on, started making a bit of a tab up for the guard to bolt to at the back here, just a little bit of a something like that. I'll just put a hole through that and thread it. It's 3 mil, so it should just hold a fucking bolt. I don't think it's going to need a riv nut or anything in there. So yeah, I've just been doing that while that charges for that. So I was going to carry on, probably mount the other guard, might do another bracket and stuff. So maybe some more welding, nothing too spectacular. Drill should be charged soon anyway, so I'll carry on with the laurel once I've fucked on with the other guard. Alright, I got the hole cut out the back here for the just as whatever this part is, must be the the bit that holds the bearing for the back of the impeller and the wiring. So I just hole sawed 2 holes side by side pretty much, and then shaped it with a die grinder, nice and easy. So I'll position that how I want it, and then drill those 3 holes there into here, and then bolt it together, bolt it up, see how she looks. Alright, what I've noticed is this black piece, what holds the I'd say what holds the bearing and the impellers all squashed together between the black piece obviously and this housing, which you can see there's these lugs on this side here. So if I put my plate on, there's going to be an air gap, and then this is like in the plate that I've made is going to squash between this piece, the housing, and there's going to be an air gap there, especially if these lugs are here too. There's going to be a massive air gap like that, so the housing here is going to be rattling around. So what I'm going to do is I'll trim these lugs down flat, and then maybe put like a washer in between that gap there to space it, so that when the plate squashes up to this, it pushes in the black housing as well, so it's all seated again, because otherwise I think it's going to rattle around and it could leak, because there must be an O-ring behind there to seal it, I would imagine. Just like that, we've got our bracket. This is what I've done here. Just we've got a washer under there, the bolt, so the bolt's pulling the plate, squashing on the washer, squashing on that black back piece, and then pulling up the housing, so it's all nice and seated instead of rattling about. So bolt this up, bolt it up, see if I can get down there in one hand, eh? Just like that. Put some nuts on there, BRB. There we go, bolted up. That pipe there is just still loose on the fitting down the bottom. It can actually twist and then lock up, so it'll have some clearance there, like so. It's just got to sit like that. I've just got it not that tight. Sit. Looks pretty at home down there. Nice and rubber mounted, so it can not be affected by vibrations. So what I think I'll do here is we'll make a I'm thinking somehow I'll try and make some pipe. This is going to come out nice down and then down into it, so it's got a nice, you know, it looks aesthetic, I suppose. I might see what pipe I can find that get some tight radiuses, so tight radius out that way, this way, and that way possibly, and then just have 2, or use that radiator hose and just cut it into like straight sections, and just have a silicone bit here and then a silicone bit there, and then just have the rest as like steel pipe. Same, well, the bottom, I should be able to get something for the bottom, so I'll do some looking about and see what I can get for it, and we'll get something nice and rigged up there. So yeah, sick, mounted finally. I've been trying for fucking like 3 months to get that there, and I just keep getting distracted or something else. Want to do something else? I keep on putting it off because I thought it was a pain to do. So she's done now. Sick. Alright, now that I got that mounted, I am gonna make a mount for the battery to sit in the car. So I'll just shoot to work to use the folder to bend up a piece of steel. Basically it's just, the steel is just gonna be like a shelf L with a brace that goes down that way, and then it'll just have a lip that comes up that way a little bit, and then a little step out just for a thing to like go over the top and strap it down. So it'll make sense when I show you. Alright, this is the contraption I've come up with. Simple little bracket. So the battery should sit in there like so. Then I'll have 2 holes here, some nuts maybe weld on the bottom, and same up the top here, and we'll just make a little brace that goes across the top, and maybe put some padding under it so then it can, you know, when it pulls up and squashes the padding down into the battery and holds it sturdy, and then it's not like rigidly fucking bracing along the top either. So yeah, I just got to weld along there and bend that one in a bit more and weld it along there so it's nice and secure. Might put a hole or something in the side just to make it look race spec, something like that. But yeah, and then just got to trim the, round it all off with the flap, just make it all look tidy, nice and easy. Just got to figure out a way once it's done to mount it to the firewall or whatnot, but we'll cross that bridge when we get there. Alright, what I'm doing with the bracket is there's already this one in here from the smaller battery it used to run. This bracket's already been made and welded to the firewall and shit. So instead of cutting that out and fucking around with welding that one in place of it, what I'm going to do is I'm going to just bolt it. Got all the holes there. Just going to bolt it back, straight to the back there, and it can just rest on there. So that'll take the weight because it's pretty sturdy. So yeah, I'd rather just bolt it there to utilise the old one, save all the cutting and welding that would have to be done and yada yada. And plus, if it's bolted, that can get repainted if it needs to be painted, and then that can be fully painted as well. The thing is, if I just cut this and set it on there, there'd be parts that wouldn't be painted because they'd be like hidden under weld, and I'd rather not. You know, it'd be a nice and tidy job if it was fully painted and looked the part, and you can pull it out when you're stripping the car and it's not in the way because it's quite bulky, I suppose. So yeah, my camera died the other day when I was filming, so I don't know where I got up to, but I think I showed the battery thingy, maybe? I don't know if I showed you it semi-complete or what this deal was, but we're going to redo it now. So this is how it's turned out. So I can't really pull the battery out with my phone light, and this is my other hand, but it's pretty much got the old bracket, as you can see. It's just sitting on top of that one, and the the back plate of the old bracket has just got, I haven't yet put them all in, but it's got 6 M8 tapped threads in the plate, so you can just bolt the new one, this one, up into the old plate with 6 M8 bolts, which should be plenty sturdy enough to hold it. And then I'll just weld some nuts on the bottom of where these go and on the top there to secure it, bolt it up. Got a bit of like rubber just under this so that it can squash up on the rubber and secure it rather than the steel squashing up on the plastic. So yeah, that's about it really for that bracket. I might put some holes in it, like in the front here and on the top, and just put some dimple dies in it, just so it looks like race car. Maybe maybe in the sides, maybe not, I'm not sure. But yeah, she'll be sweet to go. What else? Oh, there's my pliers. Looking for those. But yeah, also this arrived today. Got a big bit of plate to make some stuff out on the mill. I'm gonna make, like I said the other day, make a little flange for the fuel sender for the Skyline. I kind of got the bumper propped up in place too. Thinking I might be able to put something to mount the top of the bumper here and here to hold it, and then I can make the bumper on. So yeah, that'll be another video, because I'm probably going to end this one here and get that out, and then just get you another one next week. So yeah, but plate to make that. Gonna have a go at making some Wisefab knockoff top hats to replace the ones in the S13 that were broken. So hopefully they turn out okay. Yeah, and then whatever else I can dream up, because there's a bit of plate here. I got a decent amount to fuck around with whatever I can think of. What else is there before we call it? I got some pipe. I actually found some pipe for this Aeroflow. Actually sell 90-degree bent 35mm LE pipe with a tight radius. Well, it looked tight. It measured tight. It was like 45mm apparently on the spec sheet. So if I'm thinking I've done my measurements right, they should be nice and tight. So I've got 2 of them just to fuck around with to see if it'll work. What are you doing, boy? What are you doing out there? But yeah, so I've got enough to make a loop come up out of here, and then one go that way, and then whether or not, if it works out nice and it's tight, I might buy a third one and make the last loop here, and then just have a straight joiner here, straight joiner here. And I might do the same with the top and bottom ones, maybe, unless I can search for a pipe that's got a nice step up in it that'll work for both ends. So yeah, that's about it really. I will see you guys probably next week. I'll try to smack out some more stuff for you. So yeah, anyway, cheers for watching. Have a good day, week, whatever. We will see you when I see you. Peace out. Like and subscribe. Fuck's sakes. Nah, see you later. Bye.